Good morning. It is 8 o'clock. We're getting you started with a live look outside over Ball Arena and the city. The sun is up. Get out and enjoy the day before winter weather moves into Denver. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Erica Lopez. Meteorologist Keely Chalmers with us to talk about the forecast. Really the last day for a second here before we get that real cold coming in, and it's already happening in the mountains.
Yeah, we're already seeing scattered snow showers falling in the high country. It is going to be a beautiful start to your Sunday. We've got partly sunny skies. Temperatures right about normal for this time of the year. We're at 46 at DIA right now. Winds out of the west-southwest 5 miles per hour. It is going to be a calm start to your day. Things changing as we head into the evening hours. We do have some winter weather alerts, winter weather advisories, winter storm watches for the mountains where we could see about 5 to 10 inches above about 9,000 feet. Down south, we're looking at upwards of a foot or more of snow. Heavier accumulation to the south of I-70 as we head into the afternoon as this storm system moves through. For the metro area, partly sunny. We're going to top out right around 57 degrees for a high this afternoon. We do have showers moving in this evening in the form of rain, increasing clouds, and then we'll start to see that transition to snow overnight, at least here down in the metro area. So topping our weather impact headlines for today, mountain snow, metro snow as well overnight into tomorrow morning, waking up potentially to a little bit of light snow out there, some slush on the roadways that could make for a slick morning commute. And we are in store for a winter-like week ahead. This storm moving in tonight into tomorrow, another one moving in midweek. This one looks to be fairly significant. We'll keep tracking that and have more details on all the winter-like weather coming up in your complete forecast in just a bit.
Keely, thank you so much. As the colder weather is making its way into the metro, the city of Denver will be activating its cold weather shelter plan. The city will provide extra 24/7 shelter from 1 in the afternoon on Monday to 11 in the morning Thursday at the Stone Creek shelter. That's the former Best Western Hotel off Quebec Street, just north of I-70. Shelter will also be provided at city facilities off of West 7th Avenue and South Zuni Street. Right now, a man is in custody and a homicide investigation is underway after a woman was found dead inside her home in Loveland on Friday night. According to the Loveland Police Department, officers were called to the home for a welfare check on Foothills Drive. The caller said she was worried that something bad happened to her mother and she wasn't able to get a hold of her. Police arrived to find 30-year-old Michael Fuller at the home and a woman lying on the floor inside. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Fuller was arrested and booked into the Larimer County Jail on several charges, including first-degree murder, tampering with physical evidence, and violation of a protection order. The victim's cause of death has not yet been released. The owners of the troubled apartment complexes in Aurora that claimed their buildings were taken over by Venezuelan gangs are now facing an investigation themselves. Documents obtained by 9 News Investigate show the Colorado Attorney General's office has issued subpoenas to CBZ management over recent months. They're investigating potential violations of the state's safe housing laws that regulate housing conditions. The subpoena demands that the management company turn over documents related to how it screens tenants, its finances, how it handles maintenance requests, and how it promotes its apartments to potential residents. The management company owns several apartment buildings in Aurora, claims that the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua had taken them over and were extorting residents went viral online, and they were amplified by former President Trump, who even came to Aurora last month for a speech on immigration. Documents obtained by 9 News show that there have been questions about habitability and cleanliness at the apartment complexes for years. More documents show CBZ started telling the city it believed its buildings were taken over by the Venezuelan gang over the summer. Aurora police arrested a small number of known Venezuelan gang members in that area. A new intelligence memo in Colorado details the potential for insider threats that could impact the 2024 election. That memo was shared with county clerks, law enforcement, and the Secretary of State this week. It warns of people with access to sensitive information using their power in the wrong way. The bulletin gives all county clerks warning signs to look for election workers who may be trying to cause harm. It comes just a month after former Republican Mesa County Clerk Tina Peters was sentenced to 9 years in prison for orchestrating a scheme to breach the county's voting systems to try and prove voter fraud.
Looking back now at Tina, the signs were pretty obvious. She skipped out on trainings. She never tried to learn what really happens in our elections. She stayed incredibly political on social media. And so that made her an easy target when you have bad actors looking for somebody to do something like Tina did.
The bulletin was published by a branch of the Colorado Department of Public Safety working with Homeland Security and Emergency Management. Right now, we're told there are no credible threats of targeted violence on any polling places or election workers in Colorado. To the campaign trail now, with only 2 days until Election Day. Former President Donald Trump spent part of his Saturday in North Carolina. During a rally in Gastonia, Trump touched on the recent jobs report, telling the crowd numbers have reached depression level. Trump later made a rare visit to Virginia, where he talked about polls and voting issues. And despite what he perceives as cheating by Democrats, he says he expects to win big.
It's not only that you don't have to have voter ID, now you're not even allowed to ask for it under penalty of a lot of problems. It's crazy. This election is a choice between whether you will have 4 more years of incompetence and failure, or whether we will begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. That's what's going to happen.
On the Democrat side, Vice President Kamala Harris returned to Georgia, making her second stop in the state this week as she hopes to maintain momentum among the state's urban and suburban voters. During the rally, the vice president promised to be a president for all Americans. She encouraged citizens to vote if they have not already done so. The vice president also took a detour from battleground states to make a surprise appearance on last night's episode of Saturday Night Live.
It is nice to see you, Kamala. It is nice to see you, Kamala. And I'm just here to remind you, you got this. Because you can do something your opponent cannot do. You can open doors.
Presidential hopefuls from both major parties have made appearances on SNL in recent years. Former President Donald Trump hosted in November 2015. However, a spokesperson for SNL did not return a request for comment on whether it invited Trump to appear during this election cycle. 9 News will have 7.5 hours of continuous special election coverage on Election Day between Channel 9, Channel 20, and streaming on 9 News Plus. That coverage will start at 3 o'clock in the afternoon right here on 9 News on Tuesday.